Hey guys, I'm Jessica and I am here today to do a NaNoWriMo wrap-up video. It is December 5th. I took a few days to kind of reflect back on my experience and think about what I wanted to talk about in this video because I felt like I had a lot of things to say. I've also spent the last 5 days adding on to my story. Stop. My novel is not finished yet. It is close. I'm close to the end on my first draft, but I still have a while to go. So I've been writing, trying to finish it so I can go back and start the first edit, the second draft. So as I was writing down what I wanted to talk about in this video, I thought of 4 different categories. So I'm going to talk about the kind of negative stuff, the positive stuff, how I feel about my story, and then just like overall general thoughts. So the struggles I had this month, obviously I have a young son. He's almost 8 months. He doesn't sleep through the night yet. He wakes up about 3 times on average, sometimes more, never less, unfortunately. But he does like to eat throughout the night still, and so that was a struggle just because I was writing after he went to sleep every night. And then I was being woken up pretty much immediately as soon as I fell asleep. So that was kind of tough. As I talked about in one of my videos before NaNoWriMo, I have a lot of writing anxiety. And that did come into play a little bit. It did cause some of my struggles, the days where I had, you know, a really hard time writing because I did doubt myself and I doubted my story and my ideas, and that made it a little bit tough. Vlogging also made it tough. I'm just not naturally someone to like want to video myself every day. I don't always look nice, and you can see as the videos go on throughout the month of November, I kind of like declined in appearance in my opinion. So remembering to vlog and then like making sure I looked presentable was kind of a struggle just because there were some days where I was just at home with my son and taking care of him and trying to fit in writing, and I might not have showered, but I tried to look somewhat presentable on video. So I feel like I did lose a little bit of time there. And then I did get sick. It never turned into like a full-blown sickness. I think I did a good job of taking it easy and resting, and I took some like Dayquil and NyQuil, Dayquil and NyQuil, so that definitely helped. Okay, now on to the positive stuff. I felt like this story was easier to write. It was easier to write than any other story I've done before, and I think it's because it's so plot driven versus character or emotion driven. My first 2 times I was doing NaNoWriMo, I was really trying to capture an emotion and, you know, explore the inner workings of someone's mind, and it did make it a little bit more difficult to write. While this story was more of a mystery, more of a thriller, it had more action, and so that was more fun to write, and I feel like it was easier to write. I'm not saying that one is better than the other or one will produce a better story than the other, but it did make it a lot easier to get through the first draft. Another positive, vlogging definitely kept me motivated throughout November. I knew that I had people watching my videos, and I didn't want to start out the month strong and then not be able to follow through on what I set my goal to be. YouTube in general was just great for me this month. I loved that people watched my videos and commented and liked them, and it just made me feel like I wanted to keep going. I also really enjoyed watching other people's videos. I probably should have commented more, but I always liked videos and watched them. But that also kept me going as well. This is the first year that I've written every single day throughout the month, which I felt like was an accomplishment. My day with the least words, I had 168. That's still better than 0, so I'm proud of that. The most words I wrote in one day was 4,158, and that was actually the last day. Sometimes it can be easy for me to focus on the negative. Like, I'm an easily stressed out person. I'm kind of an anxious person by nature. Come here. Don't get that drill. I forgot to add to the challenges, my baby is now moving. He's not crawling, but kind of like army crawling around. So he's trying to get a drill right now. I don't know why my boyfriend left a drill on the floor in the first place. But I tend to be a negative person, and this month I really wanted to focus on the positive. I think I've said this on other videos, but I tend to complain, and I get really upset with myself when I complain a lot. And so I tried really hard not to complain very much this month and not to make excuses, and focus on the good things I was doing, focus on what was going well. Of course you're gonna struggle, and that's fine, that's to be expected, but it's how you deal with those struggles that really determines how your outlook is. I did keep reminding myself, this is a first draft, I just need to get it all out and then I can go back and worry about the rest later. And that really helped, having that mindset. That seems like such a simple thing to remember, but it is difficult to remember that this first draft is gonna be awful. There's gonna be plot holes, there's gonna be terrible typos. It's gonna be a lot of work, but you have to have a first draft to do anything. What? Do you want to be in the video? Okay, so now here's how I feel about my story. I think I got all the important parts out on the page. You know, obviously besides the ending because I'm not done writing. But I think I got enough of it out that I have a coherent piece that I can go back and edit. The first edit, besides editing little typos and grammatical stuff, I want to tie up loose ends, like make sure there are no plot holes, and I want to develop the tone that I want. I think I talked about this really early in November, but I have a specific tone in mind that I want for the story. Like, I know how I want it to come across, and I know the mood that I want my readers to feel, and it just isn't there yet. And I think I'll just have to work on that second. Like, I wrote way too much dialogue. There are pages of dialogue where it's just like, it looks like a script, and I need to go back and fix that. I think part of the reason for that is that I just wrote out everything and I wasn't very subtle, and so I really need to go back and take some stuff out. I'm sure you guys have heard of show versus tell. Like, I need to show my readers things and not explicitly tell them every single thing that is going on in the story. I really over-explained on the first draft. I think part of that is because I was figuring stuff out myself as I was typing it, so I just typed out everything. I feel like I should have done this before writing. I need to go back and pick pictures of people that I feel like represent my characters. I am really bad about, I can't picture people I know as the characters in my book because it feels awkward. I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but it's just, it doesn't work for me, so I have to find strangers almost to picture as my characters, so I can really develop them apart from real people. Some of my overall thoughts. I have so much more respect and admiration for people who choose to use YouTube as a platform to share their passions, especially for writing and reading. It's difficult, especially if you're trying to film every day. It can be a lot to keep up with, and it's scary to share so much of your experience and your life online. I was lucky and I didn't really experience any negativity or people being rude online, and I know that's something that a lot of people are afraid of, myself included. Getting onto a social media platform like this and exposing yourself, it can be scary, and you think people are gonna just comment on how ugly you are or how dumb you are or how they disagree with you, and I didn't really get that at all. I was amazed by how supportive people are, and I was so excited. I reached 300 followers in November, and I never expected to gain so many followers so quickly. I was amazed by that and just so excited that people wanted to watch my videos. I think after this month I'm more determined than ever to write. I've known that I've always wanted to write. What do you have in your mouth? But really making it a priority this month showed me that I can do it. I did lose a little bit of sleep, but you know, my son is not gonna be a baby forever, and there's gonna be a point where he sleeps through the night and I will be able to get in writing after he goes to bed, and I just feel like I can do it, like it's feasible. Something I was thinking about the other day, sometimes I feel myself being drawn to this simple, complacent life where I just kind of settle. And it can be difficult thinking about putting so much of your time and energy into a passion like writing, where there's such a big chance that you will never be published and no one will ever read your books, or even if you are published, you might only sell like 1,000 copies of your book. And I'm sure some people are thrilled with 1,000 copies, and I'm sure when I get to that stage I might find that that is a great accomplishment as well. But it's just sad to think about investing so much of yourself in something to have it come to nothing. And I think you really have to make a conscious decision. Am I going to go for what's difficult and potentially make something great out of my life and, you know, change other people's lives, hopefully through my writing? Am I going to pick that more fulfilling option while also potentially experiencing the rejection and negativity that comes along with bearing your soul to people? Or am I going to just settle for a life of just doing what's normal, doing what's expected of me? And that's fine, but I don't want to be disappointed later when I didn't follow through with what I wanted to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please remember to leave a comment if you would like to. I do want to ask, if you have any book recommendations for me, let me know in the comments below. I really want to get into reading again this month since I wasn't able to read it all last month. So if you have a book in mind, definitely let me know. But I will see you guys again soon.